Hello, everyone. Megan Taslaman here in Thyroid Healthy Balance, bringing you this exclusive live training all about sugar, right? I'm very, very excited because today is the official launch of my 7-day sugar detox mini course. So we've been very busy behind the scenes, and we've created a mini course all born from the desire to just get this message out to the masses. I mean, like, too often I read articles and I hear of people doing this diet and that diet. And honestly, for longevity and for your thyroid wellness and, just for whole health and wellness, it is completely unnecessary. I mean, a diet, I'm not a fan of diets anyway. However, if we're really going to drill down to it, a diet is supposed to be treated very similarly to a supplementary treatment protocol. Okay, so to get you from A to B, to really give yourself a nudge and shift you in the right direction. However, the reason why diets don't work is because they are unsustainable. And this mini course is really designed to equip you with the knowledge, the understanding, and the inspiration to really embrace our whole foods for whole health and wellness, and importantly for our thyroid wellness, because hey, whether you've got a thyroid challenge or not, we've all got a thyroid. And I was just reading some stats the other day. 40% of the population in the US, so it would be very similar to us in Australia, I would say, 40% have a thyroid challenge. Now that is just absurd. What is it? Is it something in the water? Yes, and and all of the other things, right? So our thyroid gland, just to give you a little brief summary, is extremely sensitive. It is part of our endocrine system, and it is a very, very crucial gland in helping us to maintain our warmth, our metabolism, just to keep things all running nicely, to ensure we've got good sustainable energy, to help our cells do what they need to do. It's essentially it's essential for life, right? So it is also susceptible to damage because of where it is located, and also the high blood supply that goes through and in and around the gland and that region of the body. Okay, so if we've got things in our blood, essentially it's more prone to damage because of that. Okay, as well as all the other things that we might be taking in our through our environment. Okay, but today we're talking about sugar, and I love starting with this topic for all of my clients, most of my clients. And this is why I wanted to create this mini course, so that, whether you've worked with me or not, and, if you're just kind of dabbling in and just unsure which way to go, this is a perfect gateway to your thyroid wellness, because whatever you're doing, this is just going to allow you to up level and drill deep. Okay, so you can go as deep as you want to go, because with this sugar detox mini course, it's not only focusing on what you can't have, and I'm going to get into the nitty-gritty of everything in a moment. But what we've done is we've flipped it, and we're really placing a lot of emphasis on what you can have, including all of the foods that have been dubbed as not good for you if you have a thyroid condition. Okay, so we really are embracing that concept, because in my mind, if anything is grown in the earth, if anything is in its natural form, it is there for a reason. I can't think that, on the planet something would grow if it's actually not for the greater good of our health. I just cannot really understand that concept. To me, that does not make sense. I think what makes more sense is when that whole food from Mother Earth cuisine has been tampered with, and it's like putting a square peg in a round hole. You know, it's been tampered with and tried to be manipulated to be forced into a different food. You know, so I'm just going to give you some brief examples of that. You know, non-dairy cheese. I'm telling you now, if you're eating non-dairy cheese, just stop because it's either cheese or there's no cheese. You know, you can't have non-dairy, you know, and that goes for a lot of foods because they've been manipulated so much with all of these different technologies that essentially our body, you know, it has to disseminate that information and understand and, you know, break it all down to try and figure out, well, what do I do with this food? You know, how do I absorb it? You know, where does it go? Yeah, so it places more pressure on our system. Whereas if we keep our foods in their most simplistic form, that doesn't mean it needs to be boring. You know, we can have delicious, such creative meals with so much vibrancy and health on a plate, right? And it's still food from its most simplistic form, okay? All right, so first of all, I'm just going to talk about sugar. Okay, so there's two prongs to this you know, topic, yeah. So sugar, yes, we've got the right white grainy stuff, you know, and the way that's been manipulated and created into all these different foods that actually lend themselves to a lot of other unhealthy, let's say, compounds such as, you know, your trans fats and also advanced glycation end products. You know, that's a really big one for cardiovascular disease and type 2 diabetes and any type of metabolic dysfunction, blood sugar irregulation, and all of those types of foods that lend themselves to those types of lifestyle diseases also impact other areas of the body, our digestive system, of course, our endocrine system. You know, hello, part of our endocrine system is our regulation of blood sugar. The other part of our endocrine system is hormones, our hormonal network, and our thyroid is part of that. You know, we've got an elaborate network there, so we need to look after it, okay? So there's that side of the story with sugar. And then there's the other side, which is sugar that is derived through naturally occurring foods, such as our carbohydrates, our complex carbohydrates, and all of our fruits and vegetables. Yeah. So here's the thing. If you you know, have a thyroid condition and you have a weight issue, there may be a period of time where you may go really strict on those naturally occurring sugars. Just kind of like what I said before about having a diet. I don't really like that word, but a dietary pattern for a finite period of time. For example, let's say you're trying to really push through some weight loss barriers, and you may even go ketogenic, Paleolithic, or just really low sugar, any of those types of things to get from A to B. But in terms of longevity and lifestyle and lifelong dietary cuisine for your whole health and wellness, that actually factors in all the other things beyond your weight issues, including, you know, your thyroid, the health of your thyroid, the absorption of all of your minerals, your bowel health, your digestive health, your brain health, and all of those things. We really want our beautiful carbohydrates to stay for our longevity, okay? Because there are so many other vitamins and minerals in those types of foods that are actually really important for other systems in our body. So, for example, our digestive system, and lower down in the colon, we have a beautiful array of gut bugs called short-chain fatty acids. Well, they're not really gut bugs, but they're short-chain fatty acids, I should say, that actually fuel our gut bugs. And they, the fuel for those are our beautiful carbohydrates. Okay, so we actually need our carbohydrates to keep our different areas of our digestive system and our body healthy, also to help stabilize our blood sugar, also for our energy requirements. If you're training, you know, for those types of energy requirements, because our body, the best source of fuel is carbohydrates and fats. They're the two, well, they are the only sources of fuel, in fact. So we get a little bit from protein. So essentially, it's really, really important. And, you know, I'm not talking about a whole grain that's wrapped up in a cracker, like a brown rice cracker. I'm not talking about that. I'm actually talking about really embracing the whole foods. And instead of just going, oh, well, that's not good because that has carbohydrates and I don't want to have carbohydrates because they essentially break down into the smallest molecule being sugar, instead of thinking that way and looking at sugar in that context, what about, well, this actually breaks down into the smallest molecule, which is sugar. However, look what else is in the food. We've got all these beautiful, you know, fibers. We've got all these beautiful minerals. We've got some protein. We've got some phytochemicals, which are our antioxidant compounds that actually help to prevent all of these long-term prevalent lifestyle diseases such as cancer, such as cardiovascular disease, such as autoimmune diseases, thyroid, Hashimoto's, Graves' disease, rheumatoid arthritis. Yeah, there are so many other types of diseases. I'm not going to go through them all. However, you know, it's really important. We don't want to just look at the one thing. We need to look at everything. It's almost like, if I can use the same metaphor, you know, like the biomedical model, they will look at, for example, if someone comes in, this is a good example, if someone comes in with indigestion, they will look at that system. They won't look at the foods that are going in. They won't look at what else is going on in the body. They'll just look at that system and give probably a proton pump inhibitor or some sort of antacid to help alleviate the signs and symptoms. But instead, you want to look at that in the context of everything else, because that's actually how you heal. Otherwise, you know what? You're just slapping on a Band-Aid, whether it's a medication, whether it is a diet, whether it is just, you know, abstaining from sugar for 7 days and that's it. Then you go back to your old ways. Yeah. Whether it is going on a ketogenic diet and you think, you know what, I've sustained weight loss, so I'm going to just keep this diet forever. Having said that, I will just put in a little disclaimer there. Some people who are prone to type 2 diabetes, in fact, it reminds me of a client that I had many years ago, and she had her genes, she had the genetic predisposition to type 2 diabetes. All through her family, there was type 2 diabetes, and the only thing that kept her blood sugar in control was a ketogenic diet. So that's very different, you know. This is why there's no one size fits all. But in terms of looking at your dietary pattern for life, for longevity, and in honoring all the other systems in your body, I truly believe that it's about really looking at all the foods we have available to us from the whole earth cuisine and really playing in that area for several weeks, even a couple of months, to really fine-tune what works for you and in the context of your lifestyle. Yeah, like, what's your activity like? What's your sleep like? What are the demands on you on a day-to-day basis with your job? You know, if you're not eating healthily and properly, that's where you're going to grow, and your brain, being very primal, going for the path of least resistance, is going to actually send out those signals. Just get the sugar, just get the coffee. And by the way, coffee pushes up blood sugar. Just get the quick fix, because why? Our brain, our primal brain, knows that will be broken down in a nanosecond, zip across into the bloodstream, and we can absorb it very, very quickly. Okay, now, unless you're doing a very high activity, which is very relevant, I did one on Sunday, such as a triathlon or a major endurance event, or even like a major physical sporting game or something like that, you actually don't need that. You don't need that. You're better off having something that's more sustainable. Okay, so we don't want to demonize the sugars. which are our carbohydrates, which break down to the single molecule glucose, fructose, galactose, the dual molecules, which are sucrose, maltose, and lactose. They need to break down into those molecules to be absorbed across the membrane, and then we've got all the other vitamins and minerals that are absorbed separately, and then we've got our fibers that go where they need to go to help fuel our gut bugs, and all is good, right? Also, those fibers help to slow down the motility of those types of carbohydrates, otherwise known as sugar. Okay, so we want to embrace those foods in beautiful proportions to our good fats and our good protein. Okay, so that's essentially, and bringing in all the nature's condiments. Oh, there are so many condiments in nature. You seriously do not need to go to the aisle of the supermarket and pick up the sauce bottle or the jar or the pickled or something like that, because that probably has added sugars. And do you know what? In this research, we found over 50 different variable names for sugar. Okay, so all of this information is in this mini course, because I'm really passionate about spreading this information far and wide so that you can actually just have that as a resource and just go, you know what? Yeah, I understand that. And you just kind of loop back. You save it on your file and you just loop back and have a look at different areas of this mini course to just help you along your journey. Okay, so now I'm just going to talk a little bit about why it's important to detox from sugar regularly, and then ideally it becomes a part of your natural rhythm. It becomes a part of your way, your lifestyle. Okay, and that is because it is extremely inflammatory. So it will cause inflammation. It will cause inflammation in the arteries, in the vessels, in the digestive tract, in and around our organs, in our liver. There are all these lifestyle diseases, long-term diseases, not only cancer, but also Alzheimer's, and, dementia and all of those brain diseases as well. So we really want to make sure that we're ensuring our digestive tract is super healthy with no symptoms. That's actually normal. If you're getting bloating, unless it's just a transient bloating, like, for example, after Christmas dinner, probably that's acceptable. But if you're getting bloating, burping, flatulence, skin rashes, hair fall, or you've got soft splitting nails or little speckles on your nails or ridging on your nails, or cracked around your lips, or your hair is really brittle and dry and breaking. These are all, or if your skin is rough, you've got little dry, rough patches, for example, in and around your nails. These are all signs of malabsorption. And, if you're having the wrong types of foods, and, I'm just calling it sugar, but, if you abstain from sugar, you're going to automatically cut out all these other foods that are actually not healthy for you. Yeah. So just think of most foods in the middle of the aisle on the supermarket floor. Yeah. So the perimeters are generally the perimeter of the supermarket is generally our whole foods, and all those, middle aisles are, the trans fats, the sugar or fat, essentially, in all the different forms, because food technology has just really come along far and wide. And I actually call a lot of these foods laboratory foods, because they're not actually real foods. They're completely manufactured and man-made, and they're just using colors and flavors. And I actually read something the other day. It was like these vitamins and minerals are from bioengineered food source, and this was a supplement company. So you know, we've got to be even, we have to have our eye on the ball. And, you know, honestly, you cannot just take it for granted, you know, and try not to be lured in with the marketing, like just because it's got a nice, healthy picture on the front, or it's got some beautiful branding that looks like it's natural and nature, or it might use the words natural, and might even use the word low sugar. Just be careful of that. Or it might say zero sugar. That's a big one to look out for, because if it says zero sugar, it generally has a whole host of other inflammatory agents, which are artificial sugars. And all of this, I've got all of this information in the mini course. It's extremely comprehensive. So you will be well equipped with the knowledge and understanding to really navigate the minefield that's out there. All right. Yeah. And, you know, the advanced glycation end products, I'm just going to talk a little bit about that. That is where, like, the sugar combines with the protein and kind of creates a coagulated mess and just makes it sticky. So if we're having types of foods which have those, sometimes they are in the food and sometimes they are created in the body from the food. So we have both issues. Okay, so if you're having like a processed food forever and a day, and you may think it's healthy, but I urge you to, you know, dig a little bit deeper and actually, you know, have you read the label? Do you really know if it's healthy? Yeah, it could be actually causing so much inflammation in your body, and your thyroid challenge or dis-ease or issue, you know, would be none the wiser because, you know, you've just kind of gone along with the flow, right? So sometimes we just need to, you know, just put our thinking cap on and read the label and actually see what's going on there, you know. So, you know, these days I rarely read the label because I just don't buy anything with a label, you know, very, very rarely. I just stick to the perimeters and, yeah, cook from whole food. All right, so let's just get into the mini course. So I'm very, very excited to launch this. This is the official launch today. And essentially it is a 7-day sugar detox mini course. Now you might be thinking, well, how can I really make headway in 7 days? Well, here's the thing. All the information you need to know is across 7 days. Okay, so there are 2 parts to this mini course. The first part is you'll receive a comprehensive companion guide. Okay, so a lot of you who have done my sugar detox challenges before, a lot of the information from that has been rehashed and revamped and just a little bit more on point and more comprehensive. Yeah, because the information has not changed. Okay, so if you're all over it, you know, you may not need this mini course. However, for those of you who are new to my world, this would be great for you because initially when we created this companion guide to the challenges that I've been doing since 2017, it was 20 pages and it got to 30 pages. Now it is a 70-page comprehensive resource document, which has everything from, you know, everything about sugar, where to find it, how to read a label, all the different elaborate variable names of sugar so that you won't get caught out. Because if you're looking for sugar and you don't realize that maltodextrin is actually a sugar, you'll miss it, you know. So as an example, so we've got all of that laid out in there, and also just some parameters of how much to have, you know, across the day. As I said, how to read a label, and you know, just looking at all of those things, you know. So it gives you your guide to successfully detoxing sugar across the 7 days. Also meal planning guides so that you actually know, well, you know, rather than just looking at what I can't have, like how can I create a wholesome meal? And these are just broad strokes because, as we know, there's no one size fits all. So these are broad strokes for you to just play with and see what works for your body. And then we have selected some recipes from our 100+ recipe range. and pop them in this resource guide as well, so that you've got all of that on hand, so that you can be inspired to have like some, you know, beautiful recipes, but also recipes that lend themselves to your creative flair for change. Yeah, because we all like variety, and we want the breadth and variety in our diet, because that's actually what keeps us healthy for life. Yeah. Okay, so there's that, and then and they are typically low sugar recipes, of course, because they're from naturally derived foods. And then across the week, each day, we have a daily focus point. Okay, so each day you'll receive an email with a daily focus and a video from me, so that you can really fortify the foundations for health and wellness, and just really, really solidify these basic tenets for health, which may actually not be basic. Yeah, it just depends. Okay, because at the end of the day, if we're trying to fix the roof and the foundations are wobbly, the house is not going to stay up. So we, you know, for longevity, this is your guide for longevity. So you'll get a daily focus point each day, and then guess what? This is why I love this mini course, because at the end of the 7 days, you can loop it again and loop it again, and then do another week. And each time you're layering in these beautiful foundations and exploring all the avenues for your health and wellness, all while detoxing sugar. Now, the other way to use this mini course is as a reset. So what you could do is, if you were to purchase this mini course, you could, you know, diarise across the year that, you know, every quarter or every season, the first week of every season, as an example, you will do this 7-day detox, which may actually be 3 weeks or a month, depending on the time of the year, depending on the context of what you've been doing, depending on whether you're feeling inflamed. You know, it's just a really great reset and kickstart to your health. And again, the reason why it's the ultimate guide to your thyroid wellness is because, do you know what? We need to start somewhere. And I like to pick the low-hanging fruit. So what I mean by that is, let's clean up the diet, really clean up the diet. Doesn't mean you're not doing other things. Of course, I welcome anybody to come into my world and work one-on-one. However, this is just going to give you all the information as a little kind of introduction or a prelude to, you know, organising your health and organising your diet, and organising your dietary pattern for the rest of your life. Okay, and you know what? I have kept this investment extremely low. So this is at the investment price of 88 Australian dollars. And essentially, this 88 Australian dollars will equip you with the 70+ page resource pack and the daily emails, which have a daily focus, inspiration video, so that you have a focus point for the day to really fortify your foundations. Then at the end of the 7 days, you've got all of that information, and you can actually repeat that every quarter or once a month, or you, as I mentioned before, you may wish to loop that around and just do that for, say, 4 weeks in a row to really sustain good health and amazing weight loss. So just to give an example, there was a client of mine, and we pretty much did this as a process. She was working one-on-one with me, so clearly we went really deep into her individual picture as well. But across 1 month, this lady managed to lose 10 kilos, and she's still losing kilos now. So this lady has weight issues, and, you know, it was really about just focusing and really looking at all the foods. And, you know, last time I spoke to this beautiful lady, she said to me, you know what? She said, I don't even want sugar. I can't even believe why I was eating in that way, you know, because, you know, sometimes we forget, and sometimes we're just focused on what we're doing in our life, and we just, you know, our health and our wellness and what we actually create for our bodies just goes lower on the priority scale. But this lady now has more focus, more clarity, is more excited about her life, is getting out more, is exercising more. So it's really lent itself to fueling all those avenues of her life to bring about balance in her life. And the weight is just dropping off. She's just feeling absolutely amazing. So this is an example of one lady who has taken on this, the tenets for this 7-day sugar detox. Now, another lady has actually looked through the material and said, "Oh my goodness, this is just amazing value. I can't believe you've created this amazing mini course for only $88." So that's just the small amount of feedback that I've gotten so far, and I'm very passionate about it. And if you're wanting to purchase this, what I invite you to do is just put 88 in the comments, and we will send the link to you straight away so that you can actually purchase this and get going. Now, whether or not you're ready to start, you'll have the information. So what I recommend that you do is, if this is something that you're wanting to do to really kickstart your health and detox sugar and ensure that you're getting the best out of all the foods for your thyroid wellness, and to be, in actual fact, for any health condition, in my opinion, because sometimes we need to really look at the basic parameters that are actually causing ill health over the course of our lifetime. Okay, so if that's what you're wanting, I urge you to just type $88 or 88, and we'll ship that to you. Now, I just need to let you know, it's not going to be $88 forever, but I will honor this price for the rest of this month and March. Okay, so I will honor this price for the rest of this month and March, so you have the opportunity to get it at this amazing low cost investment. All right, so this investment is an investment into your health, into your well-being. It will also give you a glimpse of what it could be like to work with me, and also whether you feel like you're in alignment and this is something that you would like to explore on a deeper level. Of course, there's the invitation for you to come and work with me. However, this is a great first step. It's a great introduction, and it's a great preliminary area that I urge you to embark upon, just to really clean up your diet and start to shift the needle, start to shift the fluid, start to shift the weight, build the awareness, build the education, get the understanding, get the clarity, and start to improve your health. There's no better day than today. All right, so that's it from me. Of course, if you're watching this replay, please give me a hashtag replay. And I just wanted to also welcome all the new members. We've had quite a few new members pop in over the last couple of weeks. So you're very, very welcome. And, feel free to reach out and ask me any questions. You can connect with me over Messenger. You can ask a question in the group. And you're very welcome to introduce yourself into the group as well. All right, so that's it from me. And until next time, happy sugar detoxing. Bye for now.